and see them outside of the classroom. So just to give you a little bit of background on what the Honors College is. So we are an academic college that provides students with an interdisciplinary opportunity across the board to capitalize on their intellectual curiosity inside and outside the classroom. So we want students who are engaged. There are lots of different ways of being engaged. And we're just here to provide and support those opportunities, contacts, relationships, funding, maybe, so opportunities like fellowships, and our partnership with the Idea Center for doing things, research across the board, whether it's more scholarly, if it's scientific or creative. We're all nerdy overachievers, and we're just nerdy about different things. So I think that the Honors College is the perfect place for all of these great ideas and people to come together. And what we often get asked is, are honors classes more difficult than non-honors classes? And from personal experience, no. I wholeheartedly agree with one of our former students' um, statements about honors classes that they are easier in a challenging sort of way. So when we're looking at an ideal honors student, we want you attending class, we want you participating, we want you exploring all of your options, not just going to class and going home, right? You're putting in some effort. You're so excited to have come to college, right? Let's make the most out of it. So there's lots of paths that students can take in honors. This is one example of a student who was an applied sociology major. He took several honors classes here on the San Marcos campus, but he also studied abroad. He published an article in our undergraduate research journal. He also published his undergraduate honors capstone and went on to do wonderful things with the Hispanic Caucus Institute as an intern, graduated from UT Austin with an MPA degree. So honors helped build up a lot of the skills. He was magnificent on his own, but we were able to help guide him to excel in those areas. And we love keeping in touch with our alumni and seeing where they're going and what they're doing. This particular student has been working as of January 2024 as a process engineer for medical device manufacturing at Flex in Austin. As an intern at Flex, he supported total material loss initiatives and scrap reduction in the medical manufacturing factory through data analysis, root cause identification, and corrective action implementation. So again, a lot of support. He had a very hands-on capstone project. He designed this plastic recycling machine that basically ground up plastic into pellets to reuse into other fun things. So you, as an honor student, get to choose what path you want to take, how you want your honors journey to look. And these are examples of titles of honors capstone projects that students have published fairly recently. So you can get an idea of the variety of topics and interests that our students have, and that these are things that can be fun, but they can also be very meaningful. If you want to change the world, this is a perfect little incubator for all of those ideas. So a lot of things that you can do, and a lot of wonderful faculty to guide you along the way. So we really encourage our students to graduate in the Honors College, and that is an optional thing. So now that you're admitted to the Honors College, it's up to you to put in that little effort and take the classes, engage. The traditional path is one way to graduate, so you can take honors classes, we encourage it, but if you want that specific distinction of graduating in honors or from the Honors College, it's one of these two paths. So there's the traditional path and the minor in honor studies. And I will go into a little bit more detail about what those entail in the next few slides, but this is the basic breakdown. Traditional path is 15 hours, which amounts to about 5 classes throughout the entire time you're at Texas State. So 15 hours, if you do even just one honors class per year, you should get to that 15 hours fairly easily. But it includes the capstone, so really it's 4 classes in the capstone from the time that you start until the time that you graduate. And you do need to maintain a GPA of 3.25 or higher. We look at either the Texas State or the overall GPA for those. And the 21 hours, that is the minor in honor studies, a little bit more structured than the traditional path. So we go with details for the traditional path. You can mix and match all the different types of honors classes that we have. And like I mentioned, it includes a capstone class. This traditional path is tracked internally. So if you know how to access your degree audit and you're looking at your degree audit, it's not going to be showing anywhere, at least not yet. Maybe in the future we'll have a feature like that, but we kind of track internally how many of those 15 hours you are progressing in. These are the different types of honors classes that we have. There's traditional. So these are a good chunk of our classes that have a special topic or theme. They may count towards your degree plan, whether it's in your major, your minor, or other support coursework. And then our departmental honors classes. These basically don't deviate from the traditional content in a non-honors class, but the way in which the material is delivered is what makes it honors. So it's small, it's more hands-on learning, it's still more of the seminar style. So all of our classes really try to avoid a lecture and multiple choice exam format. If these options don't work for your schedule, for your degree, maybe you're coming in with a lot of credit, you can do something called a contract course to turn a non-honors class into honors credit toward that graduation distinction. So the contract course can be done at any time in any term with pretty much any non-honors class as long as it is advanced level. And the independent study is another really good option that is structured similarly to the honors capstone. And this is something that allows you to turn a research idea into a 3 credit hour class. You have a faculty member that you choose helping you with that work throughout an entire semester. And that counts towards the 15-hour traditional path. And all of our classes that are at Texas State faculty-led programs taught abroad also count as honors credits since you have gone a little bit above and beyond with something like studying abroad. Not everybody can or has the desire to do that. So it is encouraged highly, and we value it enough that we believe taking that extra step to study abroad is considered honors adjacent. So we count those towards the graduation requirements as well. The minor in honor studies, like I mentioned, is a little bit more strict on some of the requirements, and it's 21 hours total. So that 21 hours breaks down to 15 hours of coursework, and then 6 hours of capstone, which includes this 4390A. It's a research development course. And the 4390B is the final capstone course where you publish. So one of them you're developing, things can be in progress. You're expected to make progress, but you aren't necessarily completing something for the capstone publication in the development class. The 4390B is where all of that attention goes toward maybe collecting the data, writing up your final conclusions, discussion. You're getting it ready for publication in the semester that you enroll in that course. And then there's the cross-cultural experience, the CCE for the minor. It is 9 hours. As far as the requirement for things to count only in honors, we really are trying to keep that at 9 hours that only count for your honors graduation requirements. So what that means is that we're avoiding double dipping. You know, out of the 21 hours, everything else you can take things that can be counting towards your core, towards your major, or maybe other minors, but just keeping in mind that 9 hours only in honors, and that is identified in your degree audit. One of the other rules is that 12 of the hours have to be at an advanced level. And this is an option that is officially on a degree plan. So you would declare this either with an academic advisor in your major or with an honors advisor. And then it will be updated and added to your degree plan and your degree audit. And you would be able to track that through those systems. The cross-culture experience that I mentioned, this, like I said, we really value studying abroad, traveling, getting to know things outside of yourself. So the cross-cultural experience has these learning outcomes. And students can achieve this in a variety of ways because we know that not everybody is able to physically or financially travel abroad. So students can choose to satisfy this requirement by doing a traditional study abroad program with Texas State, or you could study abroad on your own. There's affiliated programs, maybe other universities have things that you could look into, but maybe it's also a significant international experience or a significant domestic experience. So we can be very flexible with that. We work with the students closely on deciding, what are the best options, what counts as satisfying this requirement, and maybe if it needs a little bit more development and thought, then I, will communicate that. We work with the faculty members, and then we'll kind of work on it together and see, like, well, maybe you could add this other element to it to, beef it up a little bit for it to satisfy what we want. The cross-cultural experience, to get that approval from the faculty, does have some paperwork, as most things in college do. And we have a pre-CCE approval form. So this is where you're telling us where you're going, for how long, why should this count as a cross-cultural experience credit. And then that has to be approved. You go, you travel, you have fun, you learn all the things. And when you return, there's a post-CCE reflection that you submit, and it's a little bit more of an essay format. You have some questions that are prompting you to give an answer between like 200 and 300 words for each answer. So we want to know what you did. Where did you go? Did it match what you thought it was going to be? How did it impact you? And so hopefully you can go into detail for that, and then we will update your degree audit to show that you've satisfied it. And this does not have to be attached to an actual course or course credit. This is an experience. Did you have the experience or did you not have the experience? So, I have a question, and anybody can unmute or you can type it. I want to ask, do I have to minor in honors to graduate in honors? Nobody's answering. All right. The answer to this question, do I have to minor in honors to graduate in honors? Thank you, James. No, you do not have to minor in honors to graduate in honors. There are two paths. one thing that's required for both paths, so the traditional path and the minor in honor studies? Yes, correct. The capstone. So the main differences are like the number of classes, the number of upper level versus lower level classes, and that sort of thing. But they both have the capstone as that final element. But you can do so many different things with that capstone. The capstone can be a traditional research paper or project. We've had students do very scientific things, business plans, lesson plans, maybe if they're going into education. But we've also had students create sculptures and write plays and novels and make documentary films and compose music. So there's not really a limit to what that capstone project can look like. We're here again to help you connect with the right people, the right organizations, um, funding we have available for undergraduate research. So we want to encourage you to get the most out of your experience at Texas State through honors. And I can go ahead and take some questions now. I think I saw some in the chat earlier, and I don't think anybody's answered them yet. So let me read out the first one. Okay. So, first question is, do I need to pay extra for honors credits or do they count toward my normal major requirements? For example, if I take 15 credit hours for my major, will one of those courses be considered an honors course? If I'm in the honors college, won't my total credit hours still be 120? I'm referring to the traditional route. So, this is a university that doesn't really charge different costs for different majors or programs like this. So the Honors College does not cost extra. It does not cost extra to be a member, to apply, and it does not cost extra to take our courses. Or like they don't cost more than a regular or non-honors course. Um, and what we try to do, as far as the other advisor and I, we try to help you integrate honors into your degree plans. So while we want you to, go above and beyond in your experience, we're not trying to crush your soul by making you take all these extra things and, no, no, no. Like let's make it fit within the time that you have here. You also have other responsibilities. You've got work and research, social lives, eating, sleeping, all of these other things in addition to your classes. So let's see how this fits into the whole idea. um, and so the goal is that it would still fit within that 120 credit hours for your degree. Let's see. All right, so then Ariana, can you explain more on what the capstone project is and what we'll have to do, and also when we will begin and complete it typically? Okay, so I think I may have answered some of that. Um, so you can actually start on, if you already have an idea that you want to pursue, you can start working on that capstone project as early as you want. The formality of registering for the final capstone course is usually done your senior year, maybe in your last semester. If you're doing the development class, then that would happen the semester preceding it. Um, you cannot take those two in the same semester. One of them is a development leading into the other one. And so, again, you choose what you want it to look like. So you choose the topic, you choose what faculty member is the best fit for what you want to study. So they should be somewhat of an expert in that area. And then all along the way, as early as you want to start it, again, we have resources. We have academic and creative writing workshops that can help you work on it. Again, connect you to like labs and other research spaces. And, everybody's a little bit different in what it looks like. There's no minimum or maximum page requirement. Um, Written ones maybe average about 30 to 40 pages, but it's going to look very different, and it's going to be however long it takes for you to articulate your point, whether that's writing a script or writing, some sort of policy assessment for the city of San Marcos, right? And we definitely don't recommend students try to do everything for the capstone from start to finish in that final semester. Usually doesn't work out too well for anybody involved. Okay, so hopefully that answered that question. Contract courses work. For Sarah, how do contract courses work? How would we make sure we get the honors credit for whichever class we decide to do a contract with? And okay, so our dean, Heather Galloway, hopped on and answered some of those with a website link for the capstone. And so the contract courses, just to reiterate, it's for upper level classes, so anything that's a 3,000 or 4,000 level class. And it's really up to you. So there's a lot of self-discipline that's part of honors and college life. But when it comes to something like a contract course in independent study, you and the instructor enter this agreement. That's why it's called a contract course, that you will do approximately 15% extra work in that class, but you too decide what that is. So at the end of the semester, if you have done all the work for the regular assignments in that class, you've also done the additional work you agreed on to the satisfaction and quality that was originally agreed upon, and you earn a B or higher, all of that documentation is provided to the Honors College to assess. And then if it all is good, then we will have a note added to your transcript next to that class that says honors coursework included. All right. Blessing, you asked, how do we know if we were registered for an honors class? So during NSO, if you have an honors class, the section usually will have a letter H in front of the number. So like Philosophy 1320, section H01 or H05. Sometimes they have a special topic prefix, so it will be an honors class that starts with HON. So for example, let me skip ahead over here to this bit about classes. Okay. So our traditional honors classes, the way that they look, have an HON prefix. And so if they count for something like a core curriculum credit, then it will have the core code that's attached to it. So anything in honors, regardless of the course name or number, that has that core code attached to it will satisfy that particular component. Traditional, yes. So those would be an example of like lower level classes. Then some of our upper level classes, again, HON. Contract courses, independent study. We talked about that part. Where was it? Traditional. Oh, here we go. So departmental. That's the one I was looking for. The classes that are not, they're considered departmental honors classes, but they don't have that fancy title or the fancy focus or special topic or the HON are considered departmental core. So, like I said, it looks just like the non-honors Philosophy 1320, but the section starts with the letter H. These are other examples of the departmental ones. So, okay. Then we had Amaya. Hi, Amaya. You're one of my Terrys. Yay. I'm excited.
I've been answering Amaya's question in private message since it was more specific to her. So
Oh, beautiful.
no, I know you want to talk to Amaya since she's one of your Terry scholars, but you can wait.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have plenty of time. We've got at least 4 years with you. So, all right.
Yeah, Huzaifa, yeah, okay.
Uzaifa, yeah, raised hand. If you want to unmute yourself.
Actually, he typed it in. I just
Oh,
saw.
he,
So,
okay.
Um,
yeah, it's a great question, though.
hello, hello, am I audible?
Yes, so I can hear you.
Hello, so I'm Huzafa and I'm from Pakistan. I had another question, and that was regarding how the classes look like in an honors college. I mean, the examples that you gave, one was of manufacturing engineering, and someone was talking about sculpture and music. And so, all these students will be sitting together and discussing things, or will we be in different classes and have those specific themes that I read earlier in previous slides?
Okay, so the question is, what are the honors classes really looking like? Who's in them? So our honors classes are interdisciplinary. So you would be, as a mechanical engineering student, possibly taking a course with a business major, an art major, a philosophy major, in those lower level classes, right? Most likely for core. Um, Upper level ones, it's going to start getting a little bit different. We don't have honors sections of mechanical engineering. But there are other ways of still engaging with these students, outside of the class. Um, so the the capstone, is that also what you were referring to, as far as like, oh, the different things that they do, and how it would relate to your major?
Yes, yes. I mean, someone was doing sculpture and someone might be doing, suppose, some software part. So will these people segregate into different, I think, themes, or will we all do all those things together?
The capstone is actually more of an independent project, Huzaifa. So, I mean, so that's, I mean, but in an honors class, say an honors history class, there might be someone who is majoring in studio art sitting next to someone majoring in engineering. So, but a
Okay,
capstone is typically I mean, we do allow some group projects, or you might work with someone, but those are typically independent projects. So someone is working on
okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Excellent, good. Glad we were able to answer that one. Have we answered Kylie? What are some of the benefits to graduating with the honors minor compared to just graduating with honors? Um, so the minor in honors maybe looks a little more official, right? It works really well for students, probably a little better for students who are in programs that don't offer a lot of flexibility to take our upper level classes. So if you really want to take our Bob Dylan class, but maybe your construction science management major doesn't really fit in anywhere, but you could minor in honor studies, and now it opens everything up to take all of the fun, funky, weird, exciting classes that we offer without trying to force them into your major degree requirements. So it's honors, it counts in that minor, you know, pretty automatically. The system recognizes it easier, but ultimately the outcome is still the same. And hopefully the experiences that you have are still just as robust and exciting. Um, but I don't know, Dr. Galloway, if you have other feedback on how the the traditional path versus the capstone, or sorry, versus the minor.
Yeah, I think one of the things you're probably hearing us answer a lot of questions is it depends. So I don't think it's, for students do it either, like Michelle said, because they need, to make sure it counts officially for their degree, or, because they want to add a credential. But so it's up to you. But I think we're pretty. I would say we're pretty ambivalent about that. We think doing some independent work in your capstone is the most important part of graduating the honors college, and we have two paths to make sure that it fits within as many curricula and student work as possible. So not because we, think one is better than the other.
Yeah, we just like to provide options for students, so it might work or fit better for some students in certain degrees uh, than others. Um, And double majoring or having more than one minor, dual degrees, all of that, it doesn't have a negative impact at all in honors. It probably actually helps you and gives you even more options of things that you could take.
There was one question, I think, too, about the 120-hour limit. That's the 120-hour limit. If you go look at the rule specifically, is not actually 120 hours because, if you were to major in electrical engineering and also major in studio art, there's no way you could complete that degree in 120 hours. I mean, that's a very unusual major, but it is in fact the number of hours for your degree, right? Plus some numbers. And anyway, I don't have the rules right in front of me, but if somebody is really concerned about that, you can email me. That we, as a shorthand, we often say, oh, it's 120, 120 hours. That's the minimum it requires to get a degree at Texas State, but it's not the point at which set in about charging you extra tuition or penalties.
Right, because everybody is given an extra 30 hours to add a minor, or if you have to retake a course or something like that, or if you change majors, let's say, then you have to take some new things and you end up with some open electives. There is a maximum, the excessive hours, that doesn't start until after you exceed 150 hours. But if you end up declaring 2 majors or 2 degrees, that actually changes from 120 hours to you being allowed, or sorry, being allowed up to 150 hours, you get bumped up to 180 hours that are allowed before the excessive hours policy kicks in. So nitty-gritty details, but you can always talk more about that with us and individual appointments as well. Okay, specific honors courses, that's been answered. Studying abroad question has been answered. I think, Jahi, you want to unmute, or have you typed your question yet?
Yes. So in terms of our capstone project, what would you guys say is a good timeline we should follow so we're not, rushing it within our last, within like all of senior year? Like, when do you think we should start it so we can like have a smooth transition and like completing it on time without feeling rushed?
What's your major?
I'm double majoring in finance and marketing.
Okay.
So I would say that, double majoring in finance and marketing, I'll try to give this answer based on that. I tell students, your first semester is kind of that's a pass. You don't have to start your capstone your first semester. But your second semester, you might start thinking, I really think that I'd be interested in, looking at this kind of area. Maybe it's the intersection, maybe it's focused on marketing. And you would look up some faculty who are in that area. And you might look at what they teach and what classes you might take from them. And maybe you can get in their section, your second semester or your third semester. And you might, arrange to meet with one of them and find out what they do. So I think, your second or third semester, you start kind of, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but this is the area I want to work in, and this is who does this at Texas State, and how I can get to know them and reach out to them. In McCoy College of Business, there are many student orgs, especially in marketing, that function in those. So I would, start to involve in activities. For science majors, I would tell you to go start finding a research lab your second semester here. And so then, your third semester, you've already maybe established a relationship with a faculty member, and you talk to them about what internship or what summer project or what things could I start working on. So that's the way to kind of preload that, I think, is to get involved in that research starting your second or third semester here. And then by the time you're a senior, you're already, having built up that research plan, to being working with a faculty member and having a faculty mentor for your project. So, and it's fine to approach faculty early without having an idea, right? If you go to a faculty member and say, well, I'm graduating this semester and I really want to do my capstone, they're actually not very friendly. But if you go to them and say, I'm a freshman and I'm thinking about doing a capstone, they're actually going to be more friendly because they're thinking, let's as a faculty member, let's be blunt. They're thinking, wow, I could get 3 years of work out of this person. So don't tell them you're thinking about graduating early in 3 years. Just tell them you're a freshman and leave it at that. Okay. So, but it's actually that makes faculty really like, wow, a freshman who wants to get involved in starting to do work. That's the kind of thing we really love to hear as faculty. So, start early.
Yeah. because usually the more classes you take, the more people you meet, the more you're talking and learning. You could be in a class, whether it's an honors class or not, and suddenly some light bulb goes off, or you find your passion, and you're not limited to only semesters or only being enrolled in a class to do all of this. If you're interested in it anyway, we're just helping you focus it and maybe get some college credit out of it. But you've got your winter breaks, you've got your summer, you can study abroad and work on your capstone project um, while you're abroad, or maybe going abroad is what inspires your idea. Um, so there are other ways that students can find really great examples of what an honors capstone looks like or what it can be. So in the honors sections of University Seminar, we do talk about honors capstone, how to get involved in undergraduate research, try to, we start planting the seeds so that you start thinking about it early. You don't have to take action, but at least start thinking about it. And then every semester we have the undergraduate research conference. So in the fall semester, it's in November. In the spring semester, it's in April. And that's when the graduating honor students present their capstones in a conference style, like panel setting. So that's where you can go and listen to the students who have been working on this, present their final projects, meet other honor students. You can talk to them, other faculty, network. It's a great opportunity there as well. Okay, so I'm seeing a few things about the honors dorm. So the residence hall, I recently found out a couple of days ago that housing has frozen all housing assignments right now. So I don't know exactly what that means, but I believe they sort of put a pause on any additional movement or changes or assignments to residence halls or living learning communities for them to just, organize, make sure, check numbers, and then they may reopen it. But you really should check with housing for all housing related things. Even though we have honors housing, we do not operate any of the things that have to do with it, assignments, any of it. Okay. So then can we get some funding from Honors College apart from the BOST scholarship? So that is a yes. So the Honors College does oversee the undergraduate research fellowship grants, which are awarded every semester. And any undergraduate student, so not just honors, can propose a project. And if it needs funding, submit a grant proposal request for up to $1,500 to contribute towards those research costs. So in honors, we do consider research very broadly defined. So maybe that research cost means you are paying for pizza for a focus group participant, or maybe you have to pay for gas to go drive to some archives to do research. Maybe you have to buy specialized photographic equipment or fish eyeballs, all the things. We've done that. So every semester we award around 20 or so of those grants. And so we're always also encouraging our students to look for other opportunities, whether they're at Texas State or like honors affiliated or even external grant opportunities and funding, things like that. So since you're in the honors college, you do get occasional emails from us. We also recommend following us on Instagram. We share a lot of information for upcoming events and programs and activities, guest speakers to our Instagram. See the recording of this meeting. Yes. Yes. So my plan is to have everybody who attended. I will email out the slides so you can actually refer back to them. Okay. So, ooh, we're at 4:43. We still have some time. What other? Stop sharing. Yay, there we go. Okay. What other questions, concerns do we have? And there are also some other opportunities. The week before the classes, the start of the semester, there is a Bobcat Welcome Week, and there's going to be lots and lots of events. The Honors College will be having an open house during the open houses. So from 1 to 3:30 p.m., you can come by Lampasas Hall, and we'll have honors faculty and staff and other students helping out, welcoming everybody, having fun. Okay, so I do see another question here from Allison. Can you start on the traditional path and then move into the minor? Yes, you can. You can also do it in reverse. So let's say you're really ambitious and you want to add the minor in honor studies, you're pursuing it, but then it gets a little heavy, a little overwhelming. Maybe the studying abroad part is just not working out, right? Things happen, life happens, we can be accommodating. So, there's no penalty for it. Hopefully you don't end up with a lot of, open electives or things like that that impact negatively, which I don't think it would. But you can always change and remove the honors minor and still finish out through the traditional path, because most likely you would have reached those 15 hours along the way for the minor anyway. Do commuters come to the welcome week? I think they target it more to freshmen. I don't know if you're like an upperclassman commuter transfer or if you're a freshman commuting, but everybody show up. We want you.
There are
So
some events that are more targeted for transfer students during Welcome Week.
there should be. So keep an eye out. There might be some targeted ones, but please, the Honors College open house, everybody's welcome. Commuters, on campus, freshmen, transfers, readmits. Okay, Thomas, if I'm taking 2 honor classes this semester, do I have to take one in the spring? So our favorite word, I think it kind of depends. We do encourage students to try to take at least one honors class each year to maintain that momentum, right, for the minimum requirements toward the traditional path. If you're in the honors living learning community, then we do have a requirement that you take at least one honors course your fall semester and in your spring semester, because that's kind of the whole deal with living and learning with the people that you are living and learning with, right? You should be in an honors class. But other than that, it's really kind of up to you when and how many you take. I've seen a few freshmen come in who decided they want, like, I think they're in 4 honors classes registered for their fall semester, so they're super excited. I won't stop you. Spring offices. So that was answered. Our offices are located in Lampasas Hall. If you've taken a tour, we are right next to Old Main. We are in the second oldest building on campus, and it has the arch windows. Okay, so I guess speaking of Lampasas, Kylie asked, are the honors classes located in a specific building or area, or are they scattered around campus based on their subject? Both. We have sort of outgrown our building just a little bit, but we have a good majority of our classes offered in Lampasas Hall. We have 3 classrooms that are part of our building, but we do, just for the sake of space and availability, gone into some other buildings on campus. But you would be able to see the location of the classroom on your schedule to know where they are located. So Gabby, you asked if I wanted to switch my university seminar to an honors seminar, is there a big difference? Like I mentioned, the honors university seminar, we do focus or try to include honors relevant information and experiences. So all of the students who are taking an honors section of university seminar will be reading a book together. Actually happen to have the book with me. It's called The Anthropocene Reviewed. So we're going to be reading this book together. The non-honor sections are not going to be reading a book together. And we are all the university seminar classes are covering sort of the basics of career and major exploration, involvement on campus, resources and services, getting you familiarized with those things at Texas State. But the honors element of it is, we talked to you a little bit more about what honors is, honors involvement, expose you to things like the capstone, and encourage you to be involved in as many honors things. And you'll be with other honors students from all different majors and backgrounds in that class. So all good things. But otherwise, it's still the same 50 minutes once a week for one semester. Oh, wow. Huzaifa, that's a beautiful question. Love it. If honors college was a word, what would it be? And Dr. Galloway said open, and I'll agree. Honors opened itself to me back when I was a second semester freshman here at Texas State, and I've been around for a while, so it's really great. There's no downside. Okay. So with 10 minutes left, I'll still keep answering questions as they come in. And for those of you who have to hop off, thank you so much. I will send out the slides. So I appreciate spending some time here. Britton, is it more difficult to graduate from the honors college if I already have my associates from another college, like completing all the hours and capstone? So it depends. It might be a bit more challenging. We might be more strategic in our planning, but it can still be done, especially if we factor in some of those options like the contract course or the independent study. And there are some other requirements. Even if you're coming in with an associate's degree, everybody has to have at least 9 hours of writing intensive coursework. Writing intensive is only acknowledged or recognized if it's done here at Texas State, and most of our honors classes are writing intensive. So any of those, especially our upper level seminar classes, would be really great options to satisfy the writing intensive, because it can be from any discipline. The study abroad opportunities funded somewhat. There are scholarships that are available for studying abroad, and there are quite a few, depending on like if you're doing Texas State faculty led or if you're doing one of the affiliated programs, but there are several funding opportunities, and they are listed on the Education Abroad website. Oh, thank you, Lucilla, for including the link.
Thanks. We never introduced Peter. Sorry.
Yeah,
I did.
I was late. Sorry.
That's
Our other associate dean is also here, so you get to see, some of you may have him for university seminar also. So
yeah, and some
Yeah, I
of you
think-
may have me.
Yeah, I think mine is section 6. Although I can't remember.
I'm section 3 and 4. Woo.
And I know we didn't get to everybody's questions today, but we put the link for how you can make an appointment for an honors advisor. We have people coming in and out on vacation. Michelle starts her vacation tomorrow. So She's very excited. So, so that, so it might be, look like it's a little hard for the next couple of weeks to get appointments. But you can meet with Peter or I, so it, and if you have a schedule, you can continue to change your schedule right up until the first week of classes. So if you have a schedule and it doesn't have honors classes, or you don't think that it's right, don't decide, okay, well, that's it. I'm stuck. I can't ever fix anything. Please keep talking to us.
Especially after AP scores come out in the next couple weeks, that might create a lot of shifting in some of these classes. Somebody register for a class and, oh, never mind, I don't need that, and it could open up more seats. So you can always feel free to go back and switch from a non-honors to an honors class, or add an honors class to your existing schedule if it works. As long as it's open, you can register for it. Except for the capstone and independent study. Those are the only ones that need special overrides, but you should be able to get into anything that you want. London. Oh, you answered. Okay. Honors. Quick on that one. Right. Yeah, the university seminar. And then Thomas, are there any requirements for the capstone research, or can we do research anything that we have a passion for? You can do it on anything that you're interested in. It doesn't even have to relate to your major, your minor. If you plan to go to graduate school, leave that other stuff for grad school and maybe take this undergraduate honors capstone opportunity to do that one thing, that, outlet for that one kind of expression that isn't going to be as easy to pull off, right, in grad school or med school or law school.
This is where I chime in with one of my pieces of advice. I taught the capstone development course for a number of years, and I always recommended that if you have an interest in doing a capstone in a particular area, that you take advantage of being an honors student to take honors courses that would prepare you to do a capstone in that area. So for example, if you're a biology major and you decide you want to write the great American novel as your capstone, but you've never taken a single writing course, then you've missed out. Like, you should totally do that to prepare. So take advantage of the fact that you're in honors to take a course with Professor Murilli or some of our English faculty to get ready for that.
And the one requirement you do have for your capstone is that you have to have a faculty member as a supervisor. And so Peter's point is you want to do that in a nice guided way before you take on an independent project and develop your skills. But it also means you can go to the faculty member and say, we've had students who've approached a faculty member in an area that's not their major or minor and said, well, I want to do a capstone about this, and the faculty member wonders, well, why haven't you taken any classes in this? So, and sometimes it depends on what the area is. You may have a deep knowledge or bring something to that project, but that's, it is something that you have to have developed. This is going to be a project at an upper division undergraduate level. So we want to see those skills developed. So, and I hope that what you're pursuing as your major is something you love enough to do your capstone about. But I reckon that, we've had students do great capstones where that wasn't quite true. So.
And Shivam, I'll expand a little bit on what Misela answered. So the classes usually at Texas State, they're all following the same structure. There's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Those are usually 50 minutes. If it's a 2-day a week class, so when it meets either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, that's for 1 hour and 20 minutes. If the course meets 1 day a week, whether that's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or a Friday, it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes. And labs for science classes can sometimes be, I think, like an hour and a half.
It varies. It can be from an hour to 3 hours. It just depends.
Depends on the kind of lab. So
it depends on, but they're typically 1 hour credits. So for a 3-hour class, it's, 1 time a week, 2 times a week, 3 times a week for roughly 3 hours per week for 3 credits. For a 1-hour lab, it's usually once a week for more. So you can actually online, you can pull up what your schedule will be for the week as part of the CATS web option. So that'll kind of tell you what your week will look like. So. And when you register, it has sort of the schedule. So for each class.
I appreciate again everybody stopping in, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. For those of you in Pakistan, go to bed. Or stay up. I don't know how you people can go different ways, right? You're the kind that stays up or needs to go to sleep. Oh, there is one more question. You said capstone individual research. Is it also possible to form a group? Yes, we have had students co-author capstones before. So long story short with that. But yep. Have a great rest of your time. We'll stop the recording. And again, if